welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about a pretty huge shift in software development. A change so big, honestly, it's got some engineers wondering if their jobs are on the line. We're talking about AI coding agents. And, with some great insights from veteran engineer Mosh Hamadani, we're going to break down exactly what these tools are, and maybe more importantly, why they might not be the job killers you're thinking. So, what's all the buzz about? Well, the promise at the heart of this whole thing is kind of wild. We're talking about making development 10 times faster. Yeah, I know, it sounds like pure hype, right? But the proof is really in the pudding. Let's look at a real-world example. Okay, so this isn't some theoretical exercise. This is a real project we're talking about. Mosh Hamadani built a complete, full-stack support ticket system. Now, normally, he'd guess that would take him, 2 to 3 weeks? But using an AI coding agent, he got it done in just 2 days. I mean, think about that. That's not just a little bit faster, that's a whole new way of getting things done.
Right. So how is that even possible? I mean, a few weeks down to 2 days? It's not just some souped-up autocomplete, that's for sure. This massive leap in speed comes from a really fundamental change in what the AI can actually do. We've moved beyond those simple assistants into a whole new category of tool.
And to really get our heads around the how, we've got to get specific. These new tools are called coding agents, and you really have to understand they are fundamentally different from the AI assistants or chatbots you might have played around with. So here's the absolute key difference, right? A traditional AI, it might suggest a line of code for you. But an agentic tool, it can actually take action. It has its own toolkit, basically, that lets it run tasks in your development environment all by itself. It's not just offering you advice anymore. Yeah, think of it like this. With a normal AI assistant, it's like a conversation, right? It's back and forth. You ask a question, it suggests an answer, but you're still the one doing all the work, the copying, the pasting, the running. But with an AI agent, it's more like delegation. You just give it a goal, and the agent just goes to work. It's reading files, it's writing code, running commands, all on its own. Your role completely shifts. You stop being a typist, and you become a director. Okay, so obviously, when you have a tool this powerful, it immediately brings up a huge question. And for a lot of people, it's kind of a scary question. What does this mean for the future of my job? And this is the question on every developer's mind, seriously. If the AI can read my files, write the code, and even fix the bugs, what's left for me to do? Are we basically programming ourselves out of a job? Well, the answer, at least according to the people who are really on the front lines of this stuff, is a pretty clear no. This isn't the end of software engineering. It's just an evolution. The fundamentals, they're staying the same. All that's changing is our tooling, and hey, that's happened plenty of times before. And to really help make sense of this whole evolution, there's actually a fantastic analogy from a totally different field that just perfectly captures this new dynamic. So let's step away from code for just a second. I want you to think about woodworking. Specifically, what happened way back when the power saw was invented. You can imagine the fear back then, right? This machine is going to make all the carpenters obsolete. But that's just not what happened. In fact, the reality was the complete opposite. See, the power saw didn't replace the carpenter's skill at all. It amplified it. By automating the most physically demanding, repetitive part of the job, the actual sawing, it totally freed them up to focus on the things that require real expertise. And that's because a carpenter's real value, their real job, isn't just about their ability to saw wood. No way. It's in taking measurements, talking about design ideas with a client, choosing the right materials, and then the final assembly and installation. Sawing, that's just one little piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. Okay, so let's bring this whole analogy back to software. If the AI coding agent is our shiny new power saw, handling all the mechanical, repetitive parts of writing code, then what does the real work of an engineer look like now? Well, your focus just shifts upward. It moves away from getting bogged down in syntax and writing boilerplate code over and over again. Instead, it moves to the stuff that has always defined great engineering. We're talking about things like architecture, designing that high-level blueprint for the whole system, decisions, weighing the pros and cons, the trade-offs between different technologies, problem solving, applying that creative spark to really unique challenges. And finally, craft, making sure the final product isn't just working, but that it's high quality and easy to maintain down the road. And look, make no mistake about this. This requires even more deep technical knowledge, not less. Your job basically shifts from being the writer of every single line of code to being the expert evaluator of the code that the AI is generating. You become the guide. You're the one spotting the subtle mistakes and steering the agent in the right direction. You're the architect, the code reviewer, and the final seal of quality control, all rolled into one. And all of this leads to a final and I think really powerful thought. This shift, it doesn't just make us faster at building the same old things. By automating all that grunt work, it frees up our human ingenuity for much bigger challenges. So the real question isn't whether AI is going to replace engineers. The real question is this: with these incredibly powerful new tools in our hands, what amazing things are we finally going to have the time to build?